Nintendo announced that they're doing a Legend of Zelda movie, and it is not animated.
It's not gonna happen.
It is live action. Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto says he's been working on this movie for a long time. We found out later in the week, not production of the movie, but coming up with the idea of the movie and getting the pieces to fall into place. Miyamoto's been working on it for 10 years now. So now we're at the point where it's officially cemented. It is happening. They got their team. It's going ahead.
Crazy that they're the studio they're going with.
The film will be directed by Wes Ball, who's known for the Maze Runner movies. Anybody?
I saw the first one.
Good.
It wasn't bad.
There you go.
It wasn't bad.
Not good enough to see the second.
He's the
wasn't
same
interested
guy.
in the
Here's the
second.
thing. Here's the thing. I feel like they're gonna have so much control. It doesn't matter who directs it, right? Like there's gonna be so
Probably.
many other.
You're probably
Well,
true.
Nintendo does the
I mean,
thing
that's
that
not-
they
that's rude
always
to
do,
say,
which is
but-
like, yes, they'll have a lot of control, but they also respect what those people in other industries do. So a director will have choices over a whole bunch of stuff because Nintendo's like, that's what you do. It's like what they did with the theme parks. They said flat out this week, because an investor was like, how come you guys just didn't make your own theme park? And they were like, well, we have our areas of expertise and theme parks is not one of them. So we went with a partner that has does that for a living. So also Wes Ball is also doing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So we'll have to see that and see if it's any good. And Mouse Guard. I don't know what Mouse Guard is. Here's all right. So the first bombshell was Legend of Zelda movie. Second bombshell, movie will be co-financed by Nintendo and Sony Pictures Entertainment. So yes, Sony has many divisions. They're not all related to video games, obviously, but it is still interesting that Sony Pictures Entertainment is teaming with Nintendo to make a Legend of Zelda movie.
That is kind of interesting in a couple of different ways, just because I guess film-wise, they're hit and miss with movies of this kind of caliber, like they're mixed. I don't want to say that recently it seems like they've all mostly been on the bad side, but there have been some good ones throughout, and the producers involved have been involved with that, if I know correctly.
Yeah.
But like you said, why would, just because I know it's not the PlayStation guys, but why would they even do that after all the crap that Sony talks? Like they should just be like, you know what, we can go with, I don't know, Warner Brothers or
plenty of
somebody.
other
I don't know
options.
who.
Yeah, there's plenty of other options.
Trying to think of a big company.
You know what it might be?
Company.
It might honestly be something about the Japanese side of things too. It's like another major Japanese company who will get at least some of the same philosophies that Nintendo wants, so they can see eye to eye on certain things.
What some of Sony's Pictures films?
What are some of Sony's pictures?
Uncharted was one of the most recent.
Oh, are you talking about specifically video game movies?
All the Spider-Man movies. No, not specifically, but these are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, that Mobius movie. Morbius.
Yeah, so for every Morbius, there's a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse. So, they just did No Hard Feelings, which you didn't like, but a friend enjoyed. I haven't seen it. They did Insidious. They did that movie 65 with Adam Driver. I didn't see it. Elysium, the Da Vinci Code. So they got, like you said, exactly like you said, hits and misses.
So
all
that's
up
the
and
thing
down.
that you have to kind of look at, like, in my opinion, like, are they like how do they allocate their budget? Like, where do things go? Like, like
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Does that 65 movie,
Whiplash,
like, as far as the scope and like the effects and everything, did it really capture the feel of the environment and everything? Because that's maybe the closest you're going to get to some sort of like fantasy element, kind of
girl with a dragon tattoo. See, like when it comes to Sony Pictures, it's really, yes, they're going to have some say on what happens in the movie, but it's really the people who are putting up money with Nintendo.
Also, the other thing to think too is that, like, Nintendo has deals with Microsoft. Maybe this is their way to reach across the aisle and be like, hey, look, we can work together and help each other benefit.
Well, my understanding is Sony is very can't think of the right word. All their avenues are very split, or very segmented. Yeah, like their game division is very off from their other divisions and blah blah blah. But yes, I mean, it's a grand company, or a grand scheme of things. Yes, the companies have ties to one another.
What's What do you think about going the live action route? I don't want this to be the focus
I
of
think
it
it's-
all,
I
but
don't
No,
think
we'll
it's a
talk about it.
good-
I just feel when I
I agree.
first heard the live action part, I kind of like winced a little bit just
Mhm.
thinking about how it could be well done, because like I was already leery about like an animated version, and
Well, you have to think of American audiences and to a lesser extent the audiences in the rest of the world. When you do a cartoon, it's got to be colorful and cutesy, and that's what audiences go see. If it's not, you can't have a. And not that I
But
Legend
this
is.
Disney, this newest Disney one is colorful and cutesy, and everybody hates it. So you really can't win.
Well, also yes, you can't win, but if you are going animated, or if you're going animated for a big budget movie, that's the direction you have to go. Uh, name another big budget animated movie that's not cutesy kitty, at least from a visual perspective.
right, especially from the American side
Yeah.
of things.
There
I
could be
wish
a
they-
cutesy kitty Legend of Zelda movie, but that's not what we want.
I
And we
wish
don't
there
need
was
a
a
dark,
Ghibli-
mysterious Zelda movie either. But you need something
I
a
wish
little bit
they
more.
partnered
the
with
problem-
Studio Ghibli to make a animated Zelda.
Yes.
That would be
The
pretty
problem-
cool.
And then
I think.
audiences in Japan would see it, and nobody else would.
and
so.
you and I would see it.
The
Yeah.
problem for me is again the size of the story, taking what we all
Well, we don't know the
as, like,
story.
what we all know as a large adventure theme and putting that into a 2-hour long movie is it's cramming a lot. Whereas if they went series or something like live action series or something, or if they already know out of the gate this is going to be a trilogy or something like that, and they can have some sort of self-contained, but it's going to build onto something bigger, then maybe that'll work better. But I just see, because our experiences and people's expectations in general of like what they think of when they think Legend of Zelda, I just don't know if it's really going to translate to a movie as well.
Well,
With
yeah.
Super Mario, yeah, there's a lot of levels and everything, but usually the story in a Mario game is, oh gosh, here comes Bowser. Oh, gotta go beat him. Like, but when it comes to Zelda, like there's just a lot more depth to of the characters and the environment and the situation.
And with live action RMC, you were saying there's no way, in your opinion, that they would go with like a no-name star for Link. And
No.
personally, I feel like if you gotta go live action, then you gotta get a no-name talent
I
in there.
agree, because you have to
'Cause,
separate.
Like, who am I gonna? Who can
yeah.
you actually see in
think
that
so.
role and have it
There's
not be?
no chance. Yeah, they're not gonna do this big movie and put a no name in the lead. They're just not gonna
It's
do it.
going to be
That's-
Timothy Chalamet, isn't
That's
it?
not it, like Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
keep throwing those two names out there, and not bad actors in their own right, but I just don't want to see anybody.
Even
being
if
Link.
somehow we
like, that I
escape
know,
Link
that I
being a
recognize.
well-known actor, one of the big three, if you imagine Zelda and Ganon are going to be in it, one of them, if not both of them, are going to be big name actors, or at least recognizable actors,
I
because
hope none of them are like,
this movie's going to be
silly.
expensive.
like I just, God forbid, they're silly.
Here's the
John
truth.
C. Reilly.
Whoever is announced, no one's going to be happy about it. That's it. Like there's no live action that's going to
That's so good.
That's really good, Hailey and Tom. That's really good. There's no one who's going to be announced for real that's going to make the majority of people happy. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's impossible to do. And you know who else knows that? Sony and
It's not
Nintendo.
gonna
So they're
happen.
going to go with the guy that's going to bring people in at the box office. They don't care. Not that they don't care, but they know the vitriol online is very likely not going to steer people away. And people who say online, I'm not seeing this because whatever. I'm not seeing Mario because Chris Pratt's Mario, not my Mario. 1.4 billion at the box office. Like it's a lot of talk for a lot of no action. So the same thing's going to happen here. Whoever it is going to get announced. Everybody's going to hate on it. They're going to say they're not going to see it, and they're going to go see it. So unless it's some actor who is like a horrible person or something,
And
that's a different story. But
And whoever gets cast as Princess Zelda will be, bullied off of X in,
Yeah.
a weekend.
yeah. So yeah, as far as who we think should be, yeah, as far as who should be Link, I don't even know what to tell you. I can't give you an actor where I'm like they do it. I got literally no one. I can't think
And,
of
like,
anything.
I can already picture it. Like it starts off in like a little, forest village, and there's this
Like Zelda.
little kid,
Hi, Pixelrific.
like Link, like just boop, 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 like walking through, talking to people and everything. He's gonna talk. He's gonna talk.
Oh, 100%
Yeah.
he's going to talk. Yes, you are. If you think they're going to make a Zelda movie where the main character doesn't talk, that's not a reality. You're not. There's no.
When it comes to like
That's
an
not how
adventure,
movies work.
like adventure film or story like that, I just get nervous with like it's predictable.
Okay, let's go.
Zikamuto says.
Did you hear me talking to him about that
heard-
before?
I did,
Okay.
I did, but I heard it in his last comment. too.
That could work.
Idris Elba as Ganondorf. Yes, I've seen a lot of people say that.
The Jojo Rabbit kid. That's this kid right here.
As who? Link?
I mean, I don't know how old
Young
he is
Link?
now. I don't know how old he is now. Usually actors.
Yeah,
are
now he's
older
older
than-
now.
They do get
Older
older
than
as
they
time
play.
goes on. It's true. And as we've seen in shows like Reservation Dogs, you can be 30 years old and play a 17-year-old. So yeah, here's the thing we all need to remember. We have way more questions than we have answers now. We don't know anything. All we know is a live action Zelda movie is happening. Sony and Nintendo are teaming up on it. And we know the producer. Like, that's all that we know. Do not look at the history of what the producer's done and be like, this movie's doomed. Don't look at the Sony and be like, this movie's doomed. Because again, if you really look at Sony Pictures, you see they've had major hits and major flops. You know who else had that? Every other company. Like, that's how the movie industry works. The people putting up the money, yes, steer the ship in some regards, but it doesn't, they don't have full say over everything that happens in the movie. Like a Nintendo's certainly not going to let that happen. And also Nintendo is the biggest financer of this movie. So Nintendo, if anybody's going to have more of a sway than anybody else, it will be Nintendo. But yes, Nintendo will default to Sony and the writers and the directors for certain things because Nintendo doesn't make movies. But if you were happy with the Mario movie, I'd say there's a pretty good chance you'll be happy with the Legend of Zelda movie. But yes, live action is a completely different factor as well. So Zelda's very huge in scope and scale. I agree it seems like a lot to put into a movie, but I'm only imagining what I know being adapted into a live action movie. So could they do it and it works? Yes, 100%. It could be the best movie in the world. Anything is possible just because it's live action or they're going to cast a big name actor or whatever. None of that really matters because everything could work out great or everything could be garbage. And all we can do is hang back and see what happens. Like I said, the reasons to get angry are they cast an actor that you don't like because you find them to be a horrible person, or they cast a writer or a director that
Small
does the same
pool
thing. Yeah, right.
or a large pool, I guess.
So,
to choose from. That
we'll see what happens. Like, I'm completely open-minded. I love animated feature films. I love animation in general, but I have no problem with live action. I'll take a live action Legend of Zelda. I think the decision makes sense for audiences and audience tastes because unless it's cutesy, they're not going to see an animated thing, at least in the scale and scope that Nintendo and Sony will be wanting them to. I think they've made all the right decisions for a business standpoint because I know people hate to hear this, but Nintendo's a business and these people don't want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on what will be a flop. So they go through all kinds of market research and figure all this stuff out. Now, has there been stuff that comes out where where businesses read everything wrong and miss the mark? Yes. Could that happen here?
The
Certainly
original
could,
Super
but-
Mario Brothers
Exactly.
movie.
But this time, Nintendo is
Which
involved.
was
so.
live action. So
And
Yeah.
Miyamoto's been working on this idea for 10 years. So he's taking it very seriously. I don't know what to tell you. I all I'm saying is keep an open mind. That's all I got. And yes, we're all prepared for the massive backlash when the actors are announced and the first teaser comes out and the full trailer. Like, it's all gonna, when Link talks, everybody's gonna crack. Probably in a teaser trailer, they won't let you see Link talking, and everybody's still gonna be like, "Is he gonna talk?" But he's gonna, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So all I said is the only thing I need for this movie to be good is Batista as a Goron, and then everything else will
As
fall into
Darunia,
place.
the Goron.
The Goron. So yeah, I am not.
Or I guess he could be Big Goron.
That's true. I'll take any Goron. I'll take any Goron. What's the name of the one from Tears of the Kingdom?
Great question. I played that one recently. How am
Yeah,
I going to remember
I
that?
can't
I only
remember.
remember stuff I played 20 years ago.
So we'll see what happens. I'm not looking forward to covering
Bo.
this as time. Thank you. I'm not looking forward to.
Tentavision.
Oh, thank you, Television. Covering this as the time goes on. Likely years. It will likely be years until we see this, but it's just going to be lots of anger and lots of
Maybe.
I feel like it's going to be a
vitriol.
lot of like, you know, they're going to be non-American talent, right? Probably British or European or something. Like, I feel like that's where they're going to get their talent from.
I mean,
doing an American accent or keeping
No.
their British
Doubtful.
accent.
No, this is Hyrule. They're going to have some sort of.
they're gonna if
British
they are,
accent.
they're gonna be well-known people. Or are you talking about like the
Here's the thing. They can maybe get a well-known person for like Ganon or something like that. Like get a well-known person in there, and then for somebody else, maybe they won't do it, but hopefully they'll get a younger talent or like a newer, fresher face, you know. But the thing is if they go with somebody who's bigger in a different market, it might be new to us. They still have like they're really great talent, but we just haven't seen them yet. It happens pretty often, I feel like, for us.
Zelda is the biggest in America. Like they're aiming for us first and everybody else after that. There's no way they're going to
But
aim it
why?
at Europe.
I mean, if Zelda is the biggest, they don't necessarily have to aim for us. They can please us, but aim to bring in a lot of other market from other places.
Because we're the ones that'll be the most angry about it. That's why. Like you
well,
don't.
that's going to happen anyway, though. We already see that.
Yes, it
we're
will
gonna
happen anyway.
view bomb
but-
this puppy.
But yeah, you don't want to start off by you don't want to start off on the wrong
Chris
foot.
Pratt as Mario, like.
Well, yeah, but Chris Pratt and that's my point. People online complain night and day about Chris Pratt. The average general public likes the guy or doesn't care about the guy really. Like only the vitriol. We're the only
average
dorks who
general
are like
public-
Charles Martinet should have been Mario. Their average moviegoer is like Chris Pratt. I know that guy. Anya Taylor-Joy. I know her. That's what it is. That's why DreamWorks puts all celebrities in their movies because
Okay,
the
but,
parents are like, okay, I know those people. I'll go see.
So you're talking again about the average general public of people who consume media, not necessarily gamers. So again, whatever. It still goes against my point, but like, they're not necessarily selling it to people who play video games. They're selling it to people who don't play video games.
Mm-hmm.
So they can cast whatever. We're never going to be happy with what they cast. So
Well, I will be happy until I see the movie, and then I'll decide if I like the
But,
movie or
like,
not. But
I just
Hi,
think,
video game guru.
Classic RMC.
like I'm thinking
reserving judgment until it comes out.
the thing that comes to mind, maybe you guys have said it because I've been trying to look up different things, is like Lord of the Rings. You know, you're never going to fit the whole trilogy of books or whatever into just one movie. And I feel like a Zelda game is as big as like the whole trilogy, you know, not and like
Well, trust us. They'll be, if this is successful, you'll get many more of them.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and again, we don't have any idea like if they're adapting a game to a movie or if they're just loosely taking Legend of Zelda. So if you're just loosely going with it, Zelda, Link, Ganon, and then you do whatever you want with them.
I feel like that's
The guy's
probably
got
the
a
best
sword.
approach. You
That's
can't
what they're
try to
probably gonna do.
I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
a 2-hour movie where he goes to 6 temples.
Well, here's-
Like that
here's
seems
another
so
thing.
childish.
The way so many other movies and shows are going, jump right into a time travel story, right? Where your Link's going back and forth through time because, like,
Ocarina of Time.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though. Like, that's where it's got to go, right? And then they can also really branch out on who's playing who, multiple generations or.
So what you're talking about
multiverse.
is the Zelda cinematic universe.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, sell it as like either time travel or multiverse because it's already what is canon, right? Like the
No, I mean that's what fans say. Like Nintendo, they play fast and loose with the timeline in general. Like They're like, oh, there's one where Link wins and there's one where Link fails, and it's like, where's this one going? They're like, there might be a third one, but probably the other two somewhere. Like, Nintendo's like, hey, let's make a good game first, and then let the dorks figure out where it goes. Because Nintendo's like, we got this book
The
of
reality
everything
is,
Zelda, and it all goes in there, and you're like, can I see this book? And they're like, no, we
the
can't.
reality is that it's always a Link and a Zelda and a Ganon in whatever world.
Not
you're in.
always a Ganon.
Thanks.
There's a few games in there without Ganon in them. You got what's his name?
Vati.
Vati, yes. Vati was in a few of them. I wish they'd bring Vati back. Hi Rex, good to see you. Yeah, I think they're very loosely going to pull from the Legend of Zelda and take the essence of what makes the Legend of Zelda Zelda. So yes, I would probably say Link, Ganon, Zelda, an important sword, and these three characters being connected.
Would it anger you
Yes.
if it takes place in like
Modern
modern day and some kid gets pulled through some vortex or something?
Stop speaking it into the universe.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, that's kind of what Mario
If he
gets
gets
too,
pulled-
right?
If he gets pulled into like the old school NES while playing it, I'll
Jumanji.
accept it.
That
never
would
seen
be
that before.
that would be my nightmare, yes, but I wouldn't I'd give the whole movie a shot. But if I'm sit down in the theater and it starts with that, I'm like, because that's one of my pet peeves in movies in general. Like, you don't have to explain that they get sucked into another world. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, just put me in the world. It's fine. I don't need the fish out of water situation.
Well, that's what makes that's what tells that story. I mean, that's what their story
What
is.
was the story in Mario?
They were
Why couldn't he already be a
farmers.
guy in the Mushroom Kingdom that wasn't a hero? What does being a New Yorker have to do with anything? It doesn't. He doesn't eat mushrooms with his family at dinner. Like, it didn't matter at all. Just like he's a regular guy, just like you. He can be a regular guy and live in a Mushroom Kingdom. He can sit in his mushroom house and not jump on stomping Koopas. But yeah, I don't need to see Mario gets. I'm not like, oh, now this makes sense. He's a regular guy. That went. Who gives a crap? But to be fair, Mario games aren't really story centric, so it doesn't really matter. In Zelda, yes, there's a.
I mean, a lot of the time,
cadence
Mario, I
to the
feel
stories.
like he gets dropped into a different world or like a different environment.
It's true.
Even Wonder, he's dropped into a different environment.
It's
In
true.
Odyssey, he's dropped into mountain. Like,
Yeah, and Wonder, he's like, hey, here's a new kingdom. We're here. Why are we here?
there's a party.
Doesn't
or
matter.
something.
Yeah, it's a party. Their cake, I'm there, baby.
Or
it's not a bad way to look at things.
how did what happened in that other one, Galaxy? Was he already flown through space, or did he have to go there?
He was in the Mushroom Kingdom, and Bowser showed up.
And so he had to go into space. So like he
He had to go
started
into space.
in a different world and had to travel into a different world that we got interested.
All right, I'll tell Nintendo to make Link a live action young
That's
boy
what we
in America,
need.
and they'll portal him out. Yeah.
Because we don't have enough stories about young boys in America.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Legend of Zelda, so if we're basing it off of what it is, it will have a young boy in the lead. The America part, probably not.
Also, it probably wouldn't work now.
Roasted.
What?
Nothing.
He said, "What iconic lines from Zelda must include in the movie?" And somebody said, "Gee, it sure is
Oh,
boring." around here."
I thought we were getting
I thought
roasted.
so. No.
Grumble is a good
Or
one
the
too.
other thing that probably wouldn't work storytelling wise now, but maybe it could,
Sure is
is,
boring around here.
like sitting down, like bedtime story
Naked
or
Brown?
whatever. Like Neverending Story or Princess Bride. Like, here we are in our world. Let's visit this world of literature. You know what I mean? Like,
I want you to stop speaking this into the universe, please, because now I am going to worry
no, but
about that.
those films worked great that way, and I feel like
But they weren't established as other things already. They
maybe
were
somebody
their
just
own
sits
thing.
No, I
down,
think they were.
sits down to read the Hyrule Historia.
Princess Bride
or
was a
whatever.
book first, was it not?
Was in the book? Was it
Yeah.
someone reading someone a book?
Yeah.
I don't know. A book, huh?
Oh,
I've not read the
That I
book,
don't
so
know.
I don't know.
Okay, well, get back to me then. I
I
don't
think
know either.
Nintendo knows.
probably.
But yeah,
What's up with all these books?
there you go.
Maybe Carrie Elways could be Ganon. I mean, Tom.
Now he's too busy with those terrible Netflix movies. We saw. What was that one we saw him in? The Scottish Castle one.
Oh
yeah.
man, what was that?
But yes, there you go. That's our thoughts on the Legend of Zelda movie, and that's all we know really.
That's it, that's all.
Autumnal Blake says, "I hope Link is still hot." That's the number one important thing, of
Amen.
course.
Amen.
You know who else said that? Not a lie. My mother. I said, Mom, you excited for a movie? She said, Link better be hot. Not a lie. Not a lie. So,
Strange.
well, I guess that's what matters most
I
to her
don't
when
know
she's
your
playing a
mom had
Legend of
thing
Zelda
for
game.
Link.
That's why she doesn't like Wind Waker, because it's cartoon style.
Oh,
She can't get down with Link
she's
looking
not
like
in
that.
hentai.
Not a hentai fan. My mom is not a hentai
That's
fan.
not where you
She's-
got the genes.
She's not
Nope,
the
nope.
hentai correspondent we were hoping she could be.